that's just about it now for the 4F. I put the other two boiler bands on, as you can see, and maybe a little cleaning up necessary here and there, and then a good scrub, and she'll be ready for painting. The position of the gearbox is a little bit obtrusive, and in hindsight it's always a wonderful commodity. Maybe it would have been better to arrange a drive on this axle and up into the firebox, but that's, you know, something that one can consider for future builds. However, when it's painted, I don't think it will be too noticeable. How far you take this in terms of super detailing is really up to you next. For instance, although sandboxes are now fixed on, there aren't any sandpipes. I have an ambivalence towards sandpipes. They cause more problems than they visually solve. Without a doubt, the real things had them. If they had a wet rail, they couldn't grip without sand. And on this locomotive, a Southern Railway, Southern Region school class, because there's such a wide open space between the wheels, I've actually fitted them. And this here shows it. It's made from 15 amp fuse wire, just soldered to brake blocks and what have you here and there. And as long as they're not bent or touch the wheel, you shouldn't have any problems. But on a full-scale working railway, mind you, this does work on a full-scale working railway, and you get an odd derailment and the sandpipe gets squashed into the wheel and you get friction or you get a short circuit. I think on merit, I prefer to leave them off. But they're fairly easy to fix. You just drill a hole and then use 15 amp fuse wire and lock them or solder them onto the brake rigging. They shouldn't actually be fixed to the brake rigging on the real thing, but that would be an expedient as far as making the model is concerned. With regard to tender and loco being joined together, this is a very, very simple dodge. Most kits give you a kind of loop of some description, which I never think much of. So it's not sprung, but a nickel silver sort of loop there, or very squat goalpost and a little hook on the locomotive. Fall plate. I've never been much in favour of floppy fall plates, so I solder them solid. And as long as there's no interference, if you see there, should be able to lift the tender. So as I say, apart from super detailing and perhaps one or two additions that you choose to put on, that now is substantially complete. As I say, buffers will go on after painting. If you have sprung buffers and you paint them, there is a risk they'll gum up. Considering this loco is absolutely brand new, that's not too bad. It's had no running in, it's had a little bit of test running, but certainly no layout running yet. And there's no tight spot. There's a very, very small amount of mechanical noise. What you've done, in fact, or what we've done, is make a sound box by fitting a brass superstructure, but that really isn't too bad. You will find that the steel tyres do attract dirt far more quickly than nickel silver, and I've probably been slightly less than diligent in cleaning the track as well, but that isn't too bad. Extra weight will help as well by adding ballast. That improves pickup. Don't be fobbed off by people who tell you that, oh, it's got a tight spot, it will run in. It won't. If the loco has a tight spot at source, it will always have a tight spot.